still here at stop number 9 of the Sport Fishing Championship, the Tri-State Canyon Shootout.
This is Sport Fishing Championship.
And bringing it to you live from New Harbor Boat Basin and Block Island, Rhode Island. Sport Fishing Championship, stop number 9 of 12. They've been doing this event for quite some time. It's the 22nd running of this event. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by Peter Miller. And those watching around the world, get ready. We're going to see some fish catches.
Oh, that's right. We're here with 93-plus boats. And we've got about 400 anglers that are leaving from this area. And they are covering a ton of ground, catching a lot of fish.
It's not just what's happening out on the water catching these fish, but the scene at weigh-in. You and I, after the show was done, we went over there. We went to Champlin's. We checked it out. It's nice.
I did. It was really nice to be able to rub elbows with the guys that were catching all the fish, hearing their fish stories, finding out exactly what happened, as opposed to just thinking about what happened.
Yeah. Had some food, had some drinks, and had a good time talking to the crews, the captains, and seeing some of these majestic boats. Again, millions and millions of dollars of boats out there on the water this week, and they're vying for $1.17 million. You can always catch all the action of the SFC. Just click on that QR code.
Well, you see Team T0 right there, and we've got Gypsy. Those are our two leaders right now, side by side, trolling out in the wide open seas, using their Garmin electronics, getting out to that 150 range mark, fishing those canyons.
We saw Team Gypsy as well as T0 at the dock yesterday, both waving those flags proud. That means that they caught some billfish.
Super friendly guys, great captains, great owners, the anglers, the mates, everybody was really welcoming. You know, we kind of walked into their home, you know, on that dock there, and they were just really, really pleasant, nice to meet, and they had great stories from their incredible fishing days.
It's the way it stands as of now. Again, the boats, there's still 5 boats out there fishing. $11.75 for T0. It's different than what we saw yesterday when we went on off air. That's because they look back. The timestamp had T0 actually catching that first blue marlin. Now it's still unofficial because maybe one of those boats that went out yesterday and today caught one earlier. But as it stands right now, T0 has an even bigger advantage.
That's right, and that's kind of what we thought, and then we thought it changed and went back to them. But we're going to take a look at Team Gypsy fishing the ledges and cracks and edges and canyons, and you can see their Garmin track marks. Once again, you know, you see these long stretches where they're looking and they're searching, and then all of a sudden you start seeing these really tight lines, and they keep going over the same area because they're seeing fish, they're seeing bait, and it's the area that they want to be in.
Going, woohoo! Look at go!
Greyhounding away, you know, in that glass calm water. I mean, it looks like a lake out there. It's absolutely beautiful.
Shows on my stats, possibly that would be day 3, Team Gypsy. Again, they have 4 days of fishing. Sean Crowley there at the reel. Oh, Sean. He's a good dude. He's a big dude. He's a chief here in person.
He's always getting it done, you know, from chocolate martinis to blue marlin in the back of the cockpit. He is doing work. Great team, great teamwork, and they have quite a program going. We have quite a program going, and it's all live.
Yeah, the Espresso Martini's never had one before, but we can say that no longer, Peter. But this crew, they're having a good time when they're out there on the water, and they performed as well. I don't know that they were going 100% billfish, even though they did have billfish, and they're up there in our top 5 as it is right now. But they're doing really, really well on the tuna side. On the local side of things, a lot of money's up for grabs, about $500,000.
And the nice thing about this particular tournament is that they're actually putting out marlin lures and tuna lures, and both are eating both. You know, generally you want to like target one species, but the marlin biomass is here, the tuna biomass is here, so they're catching a little bit of everything, and not always a little bit. One of their fish was close to 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's a big one. That was a big one. Big eye. Big one.
Big one, yes.
195, 196 pounds. Seeing that bow and the rod. Again, this is one of their qualified catches.
Look at him winching. Look at Sean doing it.
Woo! My
wow.
feet are flying away, Peter.
Yeah, he's just cranking that fish up. He's got a lot of power. I shook his hand last night, and he almost broke my hand. Very strong grip this fella has, and I think it's because of all that reeling he's been doing.
Football player, Sean is. Yeah. So he played in Mexico, Aguascalientes, in a bowl game at the Aztec Bowl, so must have been pretty good.
Sounds like eastbound and down.
Where's this mullet?
It was there. I'm sure he had a sick mullet.
Now look at the water. very calm, very smooth, ideal situation for these guys. If you're out there fishing today, you're not going to see the same type of water.
Right, and you also have that great communication, and that dredge is up out of the water. Nice blue marlin, not a giant, but a good-sized fish. Great fight. And, you know, that you got to clear everything. You have to take care of all that business before you release that fish. You just don't want to get tangled up last minute. It is the biggest waste of time. And get it out of the way and get back to business.
Keep her neutral. Hold on. She's under the boat.
Yeah, buddy. Nice work, Cap. Good job, guys. Good job. Get it back up. Let's go. Woo!
Taking a look up, and there's a 350-point fish. We know Jerry McGraw, the owner on that boat. He makes pretty much almost every event, everyone he can. You know, sometimes the wife has to reel him in. I believe Liz is her name. Loves to golf, too, but I don't think he gets to do that as much as he wants either.
Yeah, there's Team Gypsy yesterday at the dock with their giant cooler and those rods and reels. Boy, they have a plethora of rods and reels, a veritable cornucopia of rods and reels ready for just about anything that swims in the ocean.
In that cooler, in that bag, there's a birthday feast going on there, right? There's tuna. There's going to be sashimi for somebody's birthday.
There's a lot of tuna. Yeah, exactly. There's a party going on, and Jerry is the host. And he actually took us to dinner last night to the Spring House, and we met Frank DiBiase, the owner.
Yeah.
That was some dinner, so thank you for that.
T0 out near the 150-mile circle. Now, they're restricted to a little bit farther than that, but we're showing you just how far in general, you know, how they're out there. But it's good having the Garmin technology and just see, you know, some of this movement. You're seeing a lot of back and forth in those tight spots. That's when they're really doing something.
Yeah, and you can see there in the back there. I'm not sure if that's teeing based on the angle. We got kind of a wide angle shot there, but he's got his rod tip up, and it looks like he's trying to, you know, bring a fish into the spread where he has his bait being presented. You see the fish coming up on that squid chain. They're bringing it up to the boat, and they're hooked up.
Yeah, Tian Skoltz, the South African.
You got the mate Tian Skoltz. That's right, he is South African. Yesterday I said Australian. I was so excited. We were talking about all these hot spots all over the world, and he had talked about how he'd fished in Australia. It was the last thing I remembered. But yes, Tian, sorry about that, South African superstar in the cockpit of the T0. And you can see they're, you know, doing their work. The fish is obviously off to the right side of the screen. They're making a turn, always closing that gap as fast as possible without putting too much belly in the line. That belly is a killer when the fish comes up and starts greyhounding. Tian Schultz is the angler on this one.
There's the wrap. That's qualified catch. And that's worth 125 points.
Nice, clean-looking white marlin there on the side of the boat in that glass calm water. It's just absolutely beautiful. We got the GoPro going in, getting some extra shots, just because they can. You know, when it's calm like that, that's the time to get it.
It was so good. Let's watch it again. T0 with another catch. This should be their second blue marlin. Dan Nolting at about 11:20 on day number 3 before they come in. And this is a team that we've seen in the Sport Fishing Championship just a week or two ago at the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic. Their team owner, Doug Lebda, not with them this week, and he's probably watching this on CBS Sports going, dang, I could have been there. But either way, my team's leading this event.
And we're anticipating scattered storms, as you can see behind me. So we're trying to dodge those at the moment, and try to catch some billfish this morning. So that's our goal right now. I think with the billfish, that's probably our best shot at winning this overall points. So we're going to try to catch a couple more billfish this morning.
And you can see those bent butt rods off the back there, again, prepared for absolutely everything, and they've got that squid chain coming in right there, teasing another fish.
Well, I like their game plan. You know, he was looking to win the billfish side of things and try and win the big picture as well. So, again, let's listen into the cockpit of T0. There's Tian Skoltz, the first mate on that back right.
There he is.
Sorry. You on it? Tell me he's on that thing, Tian.
I don't know.
No.
We're tight.
We're tight. You tight?
Yeah, we're tight. We're tight. We're tight. Get in everything in the pit now. Get in the pit. Tian, you get in the pit. Dan, lift this up and up.
Dan.
This is the winning fish.
This is a winning fish, Dan.
Dan, lift this upside down. That's it, keep turning. Hold that rod, Dan. Don't do anything. Bring those chains in, guys. Chains in. That's fine.
Is everything in?
Everything's in, everything's
not in.
Everything's in. What's not in? What's not in? Okay, then. Let's come out of gear, turn the boat towards the fish. Watch. Keep reeling.
Keep reeling!
Keep reeling.
Give Dan a headset.
Let's come back.
Just let him go, Dan. We got plenty of line on that rod. All right.
Let's
Dan,
come
put
back.
your headset down, please. Dan, you're real.
Dan, real. Like your life depends on it.
No. Dan, I got that. Just real.
He's gonna help you.
I'm gonna help you.
Okay, keep coming
You gotta
back.
work
Keep
through the
coming
pain.
back.
You gotta work through the pain.
That's it.
If he takes line, Dan, take a
He's
rest.
tight.
I'm not gaining anything. I'm not gaining.
Stalemate.
Nothing.
Keep
He's
going.
taking a little bit. He's taking a little.
That's good. Take a rest.
Coming up. She wants to come up. Stay slack on her. Keep coming. Here we go. Here comes Leader. Keep coming. Hard. Keep coming. One more bump. Right there. There she is. Oh my God, it's a giant. Guys, keep coming back.
All right. Cut that line. We got video. We gotta go. We gotta go. Go. Guys, come on. See it.
Well, you saw an incredible job giving instructions to the angler. Tian, wise beyond his years as a mate, as an angler, as the all-around guy in that pit, and he instructed that angler perfectly, calmly, succinctly, and he just did it right, and they just caught a giant billfish, and it's a blue marlin worth 350 points.
What was cool is being able to hear that whole discussion. First time we've had that with all the inter-ear communication. So you hear it from start to finish, from being calm, let him run, to really your life depends on it. Come on. We saw it all there. Again, the Sport Fishing Championship, it's our 9th stop. It's our final day. We will crown a champion this afternoon. Remember, at the top of the hour, we'll be on CBS Sports Network from the New Harbor Boat Basin.
SFC coverage of the Tri-State Canyon Shootout is sponsored by Frito-Lay, Total Home Performance, Denison Yachting, and by Salt Life.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
This spring, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your spring getaway today. And Start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
Pine tar, bay rum, all natural, all natural.
It's time for your old soap to take a
hike with Dr. Squatch, the best natural men's soap, deodorant, shampoo, and so much more.
Dr. Squatch is for players like Justin Herbert, who are here to shake things up, who break records and hearts, who are tough on the outside and soft on the skin side, who only use natural performance enhancement and want their end zone to be fresh.
Go to drsquatch.com today. Feel like a man, smell like a champion.
Are you ready for the ultimate luxury fishing experience? Join the Sport Fishing Championship talent on the SFC Experience, where you'll explore incredible fisheries and enjoy world-class hospitality from diverse cultures and SFC partner locations. With the SFC Experience, you'll create unforgettable memories with friends, families, or colleagues. Book your trip today and embark on the adventure of a lifetime with the SFC Experience.
SFC coverage of the Tri-State Canyon Shootout is sponsored by BioLite, Mercury Marine, Durabright, and by Hop Water, a non-alcoholic sparkling hopped water.
Gonna need to throw some BioLite in my ice shaker and head on down to South Padre Island. Visit South Padre Island TIFT event, the next stop of the Sport Fishing Championship. Because Peter Clayton Anderson's going to be there. He's been on his lake tour. Well, he's going to the big lake in Texas. We call it the Gulf of Mexico, though. But August 4th, you can get your tickets online at sportfishingchampionship.com. If you haven't ever heard Clayton in person, he's even better in person than he is just listening to tape, because he just wings it. He's a good,
the most down-to-earth guy, and a lot of people are going to be showing him their fish.
Yeah, show me your fish. I don't do it as good as Clayton, but we will hear that song for sure. We saw him at the Miami event, also known as The Catch, where Team Gypsy, one of our teams that are trying to win this event, won that event at The Catch. But we got to see him in person at the little banquet that they had before in the Sky Limits Drone Show. Katie Sawyer over to our left. Good time, Katie. That guy, he knows how to party, doesn't he?
That was a heck of a show with the TVs going on behind him. His band was incredible. He put on a really spectacular event.
Yeah, he's a complete natural. Any setting he's in, he just goes for it. He's spinning around with his guitar. And you know what I loved most? His lingo and the words he uses in the song are actually what we use when we talk about fishing. We do extend our arms and show you the fish. We do erect the dorsal fin to show how cool it looks. We do all these things, and he sings exactly about it. So to me, it's one of the coolest country songs about fishing that I've ever heard.
He's a big fan. I also saw him post on his social media. I follow him there. And he was in the Caribe Hilton, place where we stayed in Puerto Rico. That's our final stop of the Sport Fishing Championship. He's already been down there. I'm like, dude, you could have waited and came with us. But either way, again, you can join us at the TIFT event. Visit South Padre Island. Let's go back out on the water and find out what Team Gypsy did to get where they are as far as the points are concerned. Remember, T0, we've seen them a bit. They are leading with 11.75, but Gypsy not too far behind with 8 1/4 points. There's the Garmin tracker. Guys, what does that tell you looking at those squiggly lines? I mean, I know you're used to reading it.
I mean, it looks like Gypsy was working some of the canyons out here. It is the Tri-State Canyon Shootout for a reason. There's an incredible bathymetry out here.
And he's wearing his urban sombrero to protect himself from the sun. You can see that on Seinfeld, a very big cellar there for a while. You know, keeps the sun off your face, and that's what you need when you fish this many hours, this many days on the water. You know, all kidding aside, it's actually a great idea. I like to cut a little hole in the top, though, a little vent.
Oh,
let the heat out.
That's when you get a nice roasted spot on the top of your head, sunburn.
Yeah, if you look at those, you know, the Garmin track right there, again, you see the straight lines, and they're surveying, they're looking, and they finally find what they like. They get the bites, and they start working that area really, really tight, and that's what they do, zigzagging all over the place, and then they get on the fish.
All right, release.
That's the release. Just get confirmation. Nice job, guys.
Good job.
Slow evening last night. Caught a mahi early this morning in the spread. Started the morning off about an hour ago with a blue. Nice blue. Mikey pitched it. And then we just had a white with Bert. Bert caught a white. So we're doing all right. Just going to keep pushing, trying to rack up these points. And hopefully it'll all pan out for us.
We need to, or we'll see a little bit more from Bert Fennell. I know that Michelle got to speak with him. We'll find out more about him in the CBS show.
You know, these guys, they had a great tournament. They caught quite a few billfish, and a lot of it was on the tuna tackle that we talked about yesterday.
And he said
that's kind of a good thing, because, you know, it allows you to do both. You know, it allows you to catch the blue marlin and the white marlin, which are point precious fish, and the championship simultaneously in the same spread, and that's generally not the case. It just shows you that. Well, let's look at this track mark for a minute. Let's look at lights out. You think they like that canyon there?
You know, that's what we call a bowl of spaghetti on our boat. They found their spot.
Hungry. I want some ragu on that.
Your dinner last night. Yeah, lights out. We haven't seen them yet, and because they actually fished day 3 and day 4, they're still out there fishing or making their way back out right now as we speak. But again, one of the only featured team that chose to choose those last 2 days of competition where the weather was going to be more of a factor.
And, you know, Robbie, we've got sustained winds at 25 today, and it's gusting to 41, 44, tonight at 48. So we've got some serious conditions coming in. I heard of hail coming in. Doesn't look like it where we're sitting right now, but those guys were probably experiencing a little swelly action, a little confused sea for sure.
So there's a case also, Katie, you got to see it in the Gulf where you can catch these fish. We know what they have. Nobody else do we know what they have, but we've got a camera on board, but they still have to get back to check-in or it's not a legal catch.
That's right. These guys have a time crunch. They have to leave no matter where they are within the 140-mile boundary line. They have to leave to be able to make it back to the dockside at a specific time.
And I'm thinking these guys in that particular boat, they're probably cruising or running, depending on the seas, about 35, 36, maybe 38 knots, maybe 40 knots if they need to punch it.
Well, I'm hoping for them that they're going down sea this evening, because it's going to be a bit rough.
It's a 62 Viking.
Southeast wind.
62 Viking, Rob Carmichael on that boat. We've seen them many times on the Sport Fishing Championship. They won the Oak Bluffs event last year.
And whereas we were seeing a lot of tuna tackle on the Gypsy boat, you can tell that these guys, they're fishing more of what we see in the Gulf of Mexico with the light tackle. They are specifically bill fishing, and that's what they have on right now.
Teosina yesterday afternoon about 4:45. Nice form.
I was just looking at that saying it's smooth. You know, you reach out for that tip. When that fish comes up, you know he's going to scope up. You can just reach out as far as you can and get that wind on leader right into the tip of your rod. It's a release.
Great little show by the boat for a good clarification of species. These guys, it's not their first rodeo.
Again, they have to identify what that fish is. They're in constant contact. We have our own videographer, but typically you would have your own. They show the catch card as well that we're at this event, so you don't get it confused with another event and use old footage.
Let's go, boys.
We also have 2 lights out boats fishing this event. We have a lights out Bayless, and then we have this team lights out, which is, I believe is a Viking.
We have another white marlin on the books for these guys. They're fishing hard. We saw in the beginning of the footage that they had several lines out. Still, they're doing that same practice that we often see from Team Quantified.
Well, the catches continue. T0 still leading this event with 1175. Again, there's 5 boats that could still be fishing and making their way back here to Block Island. So it's not over with, but right now T0 looking really good. Lights out in the Bayless in 6th, and the other lights out back in 8th place.
En Puerto Rico, We call ourselves Boricua. We're proud, passionate, and full of life. On our island, adventure finds you. Strangers aren't strangers for long. The size of the audience doesn't change the beauty of the music, and we celebrate every last ray of sun. Live Boricua.
Salt Life, the official sunglass partner of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Every day on the water is a blank canvas. You can reach new waters and ride endless waves. So drop the hammer or the anchor and let adventure be your guide. Mercury engines are made for exploring. So are you. Go boldly.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
SFC coverage of the Tri-State Canyon Shootout is sponsored by Garmin, Invincible Boats, Visit South Padre Island, and by SFC Experience.
Canyon Shootout, but next week we're going to be in studio. Katie, I think you get to go down, back our neck of the woods for the Visit South Padre Island Texas International Fishing Tournament. It's always a big one. I mean, over 100 fish caught in just a 2-day event, not a 3-day event.
That's right. TIFT is a well-known tournament in the Gulf of Mexico. Significantly different fishery than we've seen in the Northern Gulf. But we're here in Tri-State Canyon Shootout, Block Island, looking into T0.
In our leader. And this is the final day of competition, but they were already, their fishing day was done a couple days ago. Several of our teams actually finished on day one. Lady Lisa and Strictly Business Lights Out finished yesterday afternoon.
Let's take a look at some great footage from the dredge from T0. It's, we're broadcasting live above water, but to be able to broadcast live from underwater, that's pretty special. It's very exciting to be able to see these fish come up into the spread, and you could see the way they feed, the way they attack. You're going to see a white marlin here come up and just nail one of those baits on the dredge.
If we got a little sun in our eyes, it'll be hard to spot it, but you could see that fish working back there in those baits. Out To the unfamiliar, what is that dredge? Why are we seeing that? What are we seeing in that picture?
It's you know, we talk about fish aggregating devices. We talk about something that's going to elicit a strike. We could see the marlin right behind the teaser, right behind the dredge, looking at these deboned mullet, and they're just going to be hanging on that, figuring out which one to eat, which one to attack, who looks slowest, which one's going to be the meal. And then they pull it in, they get it out of the way, then sometimes they fall back to that squid chain. But it's all a teasing game. It's a cat and mouse game. And then all of a sudden they hook up and they bring it in. But you can also see a marlin way off to the left side. There were 2 white marlin in that shot.
That's right, and whenever they see a fish in the spread, a lot of these teams will actually bring in their teasers, their dredges, so that the fish will be enticed to bite one of the hook baits.
So guys, when I see the pink teaser on the left, that's that chain, the inline one, is there a hook on the end looking to catch a fish?
No, there's no hook on the end of that, Robbie. They have strictly, you know, they're pitch baiting, and when you're pitch baiting, you're going to have your teasers, your squid chains are going to just be rigged ballyhoo, dead baits that get you a little oil, a little mush. When they squeeze down on it, they get a taste. It gets them even more fired up. Then they're going to come follow it right up to the boat, and then they deploy their bait. Everything comes out of the water, and the bait goes down their throat. This is a multi.
Get off me. Get off me.
That being said, Robbie, based on your question, a lot of these teams are fishing teasers, squid chains with a hook on the end of it.
I was wondering, why wouldn't I throw something at the end to let them, that'd be the first one that comes to, right? You talk about it, and we saw it in that picture, these billfish don't often strike from straight back. They rip from side to side.
That's right, and for us specifically, when you're putting a squid chain out with a hook in it, it's going to be a J hook. It's going to be an artificial bait. But if you put a teaser without a hook and you pitch a circle hook, you're most likely, statistically speaking, going to have a much better hook set in the fish, and therefore a much better likeliness to seal the deal with a billfish.
Working that fish in that calm water, I think those waves were created by their own boat, and they're backing down on that fish. And Katie has a good point there. These circle hooks have a very good hookup ratio. You put that tip down low as the fish is going away, and it just finds its way miraculously into the corner of their mouths. Great for conservation, great for releasing the fish, whereas the J hooks can cause a problem. They can do a little damage to the fish if they swallow it. So the circle hook has been in play in these billfish tournaments across the planet since probably the 90s, and it's been the go-to move, and it's the rules. You have to follow those rules anywhere you pretty much go in the country right now and abroad.
Absolutely. Definitely, that is a very good point, and the reason why we circle hook fish with billfish additionally and not with tuna is because we're not going to harvest these fish. We're going to release them. The tuna we're going to keep.
Yeah!
That's nice. That's exhilarating, to say the least.
650, baby, 650.
Yeah.
We're climbing. Hey, yeah, so that's another good.
Nice.
Normally I'm grabbing.
Come on, give it. Bring it in here. Uncle Kimbo.
Robbie, did you notice that the fish actually jumped backwards?
Yeah.
It almost jumped in the boat, and in midair it kind of went backwards, like it had like a bow thruster on it, and went back into it. I almost thought it was like a replay, but it wasn't. That fish had some mad skills, mad jumping skills.
I like to call these white marlin tiny dancers. They can really put on a show. And this team, T0, they really put on a show themselves, chipping away at their points, 125 at a time, and they did a great job out there.
Let's take a look at lights out on that inside ring within the 100-mile mark. Looks like they've got some heavy tackle. They're harnessed up, and they're working on a fish, most likely a blue marlin.
That's a much heavier rod, exactly like you said, with a bucket seat harness, and a very different setup than we just saw on T0.
I had it swapped out between T0 and Lights Out a minute ago. Lights Out is the team that fished yesterday and today. This was actually this morning. As they were getting ready to start their day, they got started in a nice way with Rob West.
Cool, calm, and collected, just squatting that fish in, set up right with that stand-up harness, bumping ahead. The fish is obviously coming at them. You got to take up that slack, bumping ahead, and then obviously at some point they're going to start spinning and backing down.
You know, you touched, Peter, on how we're bumping ahead here, and the reason for that is we really, really want in these moments for the fish to start taking line so that the captain can be confident in the hook set, that he can be confident that the fish is ready and actually at the end there.
And that's a great point. It brings up another point, which is when the circle hook gets in the corner of a billfish's mouth, even if you go slack, there's a little give, there's a little leeway there where the hook is still stay in. J-hooks, they can kind of tear a hole, and they start jumping, it could easily fall out.
And it looks like this might just be a J-hook with that lure that's swinging around, but that is a nice blue marlin, a beautiful fish jumping boat side. Again, giving the team the opportunity to qualify the fish.
We saw Mateo Cena with a white marlin earlier on this boat. Now we're seeing the blue marlin catch of Rob West. A lot of people on this boat. It looks like 8, 9, 10, 11 people on this boat. It's a big one.
It's not uncommon to have, you know, 8 to 12 people on the boat because you got to sleep at night. Someone has to cook. Someone has to work on the tackle, the rigging, running the boat, looking at the sonar, looking at the radar. There's a job for everybody. You can't have enough people, especially if you have a big cockpit like that and a large boat. It's really nice to bring as many people as possible to help along the way.
I completely agree. And the Carmichael group, this boat, lights out. It's Rob Carmichael is the owner, operator, and his son Tucker is the first mate. We did a deep dive on him last week at the OBBC, and they have a tight-knit team of friends and family that go out every week, and they get it done.
They've got 3 Robs or Robbies on that boat, so I mean that's got to be a bonus right there.
That's a trifecta.
Robbie, are you going to ask them if you can join in?
Yeah, I think if I were to join one, that might be the one.
Well, you're going to be the chamois guy, I'll tell you that. You're going to be the chamois guy doing the tower at the end of the day, unless it's raining on the way in. But, you know, these guys, they've got it figured out. They fished all around the world, and they're doing what they love, and that's what's beautiful about this. And to be on live TV, I think it's a dream of a lot of adults, you know, in the 50s, 60s, to see this for the first time, and for these young guys to be able to do this on television live. Big blue marlin busting, ripping up the water behind the boat. Absolutely phenomenal.
The leader, you know, I want to point out that the mate touched the leader, and that fish said, nope, I don't like that extra pressure. I don't like where it's coming from. I'm going to jump away, but hey, they got it back, and he's on the wire now.
Love it. Nice blue girl. It's like cornflakes in the morning.
Give me a little walkthrough of what happened.
Yeah, I was actually in the pit, which is a little unique for me. Saw her come up in the left teaser. She spun on our all-star plug, and then she went off.
Team lights out, getting things going. First catch of the morning, a big blue. That's our Bosun's Marine replay of the day. Yesterday it was disappointment, but Bosun's Marine replay of the day is a big today, Peter.
Shoulders, big shoulders getting out of the water, big tail wags, dorsal popping up, retracting. It's a beautiful sight to see.
That's really, in my opinion, the perfect size tournament blue marlin. Not too big, but steady enough. They have a good, obviously a good hook set on the lure. And that fish, man, what a beauty.
Yeah, not just from left to right, but up and down. It was covering a lot of shadow in that water. You saw him pretty quick, and he didn't want any part of that boat. And you know what? Somebody's going to catch that fish again someday. That's why it's all catch and release with the Sport Fishing Championship. And as the point standings have it right now, T0 in the lead, Gypsy, Backlash, 5 Cs. And we can have ties, you know, throughout the leaderboard, except for first. We will not have a tie for first place. But T0 looks like they're pulling away a little bit, but there's only 4 teams that can knock them off.
Out of 93 teams out on the water this week, that's an incredible showing from Team T0 and all of the others on the board.
Pete, you ready to do it? We get to do it at the top of the hour on CBS Sports Network. We've already seen some stuff that we hadn't seen before. I'm quite sure we're going to see some more.
I can't wait to go to the top of the hour on CBS Sports Live. It's always exciting because we get to see things that, you know, these guys are seeing firsthand, but they're broadcasting it to us, and then we get to talk about it, we get to learn about it, and we get to show everybody what's going on out there in the great blue Atlantic Ocean.
Here there are just under 50 billfish caught. I say we see at least 48 of them.